test. Looks like the lighting's a little low. See where we get here. All right. So today I'd like to talk about Ormus. Ormus is essentially, it's a mineral grouping of minerals that are extracted from different kinds of salt. Dead Sea salt being the main one that has the most highest content of these minerals in it. So there's going to be a few things we go into. Ormus, 5D and higher technology, patience, grace, and ease, as well as releasing emotions. We're going to be talking about parenting our kids and reparenting ourselves. So some of the uses of Ormus, start there. We'll go into spiritual uses and physical uses. So some of the spiritual uses for Ormus, we'll start with anointing. So what I'd like to do is take a couple drops of Ormus to start, put it on my hands, put it on my shoulders, put it on my crown, put it on my third eye, the heart. Really, you can put it all over your body and all the different places where you feel you can kind of raise your connection to spirit, to your star self, to your star family. I look at it as a bit of a starseed medicine. It's kind of the way I see it. So the spiritual uses, there's a bunch we could go into, but first I'll say, with Ormus, it's the minerals, right? But it's a very high vibrational mineral. So to talk a little bit about it for people who've never really heard of it, there's all these minerals and metals that are only made when a supernova happens and stars explode, and all of those minerals and metals are constantly falling to Earth in very small particulates. And so they'll gather up into places where, like the Dead Sea, where the water will go in, but no water comes out, very low basin. And then they'll reside within the salt, those salt crystals. So you take that salt, you take the highest amount, the best water that you can find, and you mix the salt and the water together to reconstitute that sea. So we take that liquid, we add a high pH solution to it. In this case, I use food grade lye, which is water soluble. Same with sodium chloride, molecule of salt. So you take that high pH solution and add it little by little into your sea water that you reconstituted. You'll notice right away it'll start to cloud. You go from a pretty clear mixture of salt water to a cloudy mixture, and slowly, patiently, over time, over the course of, it could take 10 minutes, it could take quite a bit longer, up to probably about an hour, of just dripping this liquid in. And what you get is this very cloudy mixture. What you want to do is you want to have a pH meter that takes you right up to about 10.5, 10.7, and not over 10.75 pH. So that's our target range, which will get you those target minerals that you're searching for. And that cloudy solution slowly will settle to the bottom of your jar that you're using, until what you have left at the bottom is that heavy mineral solution with a top water on top. And so what you'll do is, over the course of a few weeks, I take quite a bit of time. Some people do it a lot quicker. I take quite a bit of time to take all of the top water, you siphon that out and then refill it with fresh water. Mix it all up. It's a big cloudy solution again. And you wait for that to settle again. You do this over and over until what you're left with is a mixture that no longer has a taste of salt. If it does, it's a very light taste. And with that, you can be sure that you've pulled out all of the food grade lye as well, because the water soluble elements, which would be the lye and the salt, are now removed. So what you're left with is almost like a sweet tasting um, solution with just the minerals, and maybe you want to leave a little bit of water in as well. That way, when you mix it up, it's really just a lot easier to use your dropper or to serve it in a certain way when you have a little bit of water mixed in with it. So that is the extraction method of Ormus, and so that's a good start there. And some of my experiences. Okay, when I first started taking Ormus, just a couple drops in a glass of water. It doesn't take much. When I first started taking it, I noticed that my interest in desserts after every meal, I would say even addiction to too much coffee, too much sugar, cigarettes, the spiritual factor in my life was already pretty high, but there were still some things that I was like attaching to that I held on to. So with this Ormus including into my life, I noticed that the sugar was almost gone, not interested anymore. Actually, I went a month or so without any sugar, any coffee, which if you would have told me a week before that, it would have been like, no, there's no way. 6 shots of espresso straight up, nothing, just drinking that. And then, like sugar after every meal, like I said. So I was able to really just settle that down without even really thinking about it. What it did was it physically gave me a headache when I would eat some sugar or anything else. And what I felt like was happening was the Ormus was doing work on my body and was cleansing me. It's technically it's a mud. If you take like zeolite or which would be clintipolite clay, or any of these things, it's a clay. So it's the zeolite has this structure to where it will pull in toxins, your body's toxins. So it's similar to that, and there's not a lot of science that's been done on the specific clay of Ormus and what it's doing on the inside. But from my experience, having taken zeolite quite a bit before, and bentonite clay and different things to detox my own body of heavy metals and the toxins, the environmental toxins that we all take in all the time. I had the experience when taking Ormus that this was detoxifying me in some way. It was pulling out toxins and drying up the old, and allowing for, when I drink a lot of water, for me to flush that out. And then the stuff that was left behind were these target minerals that your body is really after. And so this is what is very interesting is you find Ormus in soil, you find Ormus in dense greens like kale and different types of green food, because it pulls those micro minerals out of the soil as it grows. So in places like the Dust Bowl in the US, where the minerals were drawn out of the soil so many times, and they planted the same things over and over, the same plants over and over, pulling all the minerals out. Eventually, the nutrient value of the food went down because it was no longer able to access these micro minerals that it wanted to take up. So from then on, it's been like the 20s, 30s till now. The mineral content and the nutritional value of our food has gone down. So this is our way of reintroducing those minerals back into our body. So that was my first experience with it. I also, I noticed that my perception was getting clearer. My attunement, my frequency was just raising. So on that note, I'm gonna stop for now. We're gonna listen to a little bit of music on the way out, and I'll get back into this a little bit later. I'm just gonna keep it short, nice 10-minute video. I got a lot more for you guys, but I just wanted to get started there on the extract method of Ormus, a couple of the spiritual uses. Let's see, anything else? one last thing I'll say is it helps to balance the awakening symptoms that you might be feeling. And I'll get into a lot more of this next time. So thank you guys for watching.
Inside, let's take off our shoes.